brothers.
And the Warner sister.
Yeah.
All set?
All set.
All set. Okay. Hi. Hi, everybody.
Good Lord. Welcome. Welcome to the Genxcynics cast, y'all. I am your host, Kalari GXC.
I'm Axiom. I'm not going to do the whole thing.
Oh my goodness.
It's just weird.
Why? Axiom Wolf is a good name.
Just weird. Everybody calls me Axiom or Greg, that's it.
Yeah.
They know I'm a wolf. Rawr.
Speaking of which, you got another follower, Spirit Wolf, at that.
Yeah, that was from Wolfie.
Yeah, you gotta have a full wolf pack soon.
I know, that's what I'm going for, because Wolfie followed me, and then Spirit Wolf.
I seen Bacon too.
And then Dio, which I was just like, Dio, hey, is that the guy from Gold Saucer?
Nice.
Final Fantasy 7, I got the guy from Gold Saucer following me now. That mean I can get an Omni Slash?
Speaking of Omni Slash, we have been watching so many super... What are you doing?
I don't know. Just having fun with my hands.
I'm gonna leave it alone, y'all. I'm gonna leave it alone.
I'll be good.
Oh my God. You stop it, you maniac. Oh yeah. We've been watching a lot of superhero stuff, and not so much superhero stuff, but it's been a good week.
What?
What?
You just kind of stopped mid-sentence and looked at me like I was doing something.
I thought you might want to jump in.
I was waiting. I'm good. Go ahead. You're fine. We've been watching a lot of My Hero.
Oh my gosh. You're messing with me, y'all.
We did not have any prep time for this.
No. But yeah, we've been watching a lot of My Hero Academia and pretty much just taking in a bunch of superhero stuff and talking superhero things. And I was like, well, as much fun as we have talking to each other about it, I can't wait to talk to you guys about some of our takes on just the way heroes are portrayed, how some people are trying to take classic heroes and put a new spin on it, and how I want to see more fresh, newer takes on heroes. What did it mean to be a hero?
You almost said Harold.
Heroism, I was trying to say.
Oh, you're trying to say heroism. Didn't come out right.
Yeah, that's why I paused.
Okay.
I'm
gonna the camera's reversed. I can't get it right. I'm gonna do this to her all day.
No, he's not. No, stop it. Anyhow,
she can't hear me when I do this.
I can totally hear you, dear. Oh yeah. Anyhow, getting back on topic, I just love superhero stuff. I've loved it since I was a kid. Hey Drew, welcome to the chat.
How's it going?
How you doing today?
I'm trying to behave. I got a burst of energy.
Try and behave.
This is behaving.
But anyhow, stop. Anyhow, the cool thing about superheroism is it allowed you to see how people... Could you please?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I can't keep fat and focused like this. Honestly.
I'm sorry. I'll stop. I'll be good. I'll drink some water. I'll be good. I'll be fine.
The thing I liked about superheroism growing up as a kid was you got to see people with powers and how they would react with powers. And it wasn't as nuanced as good guy versus bad guy, the stuff I read. A lot of times you actually felt for the villains because of the way society treated them. One of my favorite groups is the X-Men. It's because when I think about Magneto, I think of how I feel in our society currently. I am for my people. Every human is technically my people, but when I say my people, most people know I mean people who look like me because we've constantly been vilified by society. And I know not all of my people are going to be worthy of looking after, but the majority of us are. And I like showing that not only do we deserve to be here, but we earned our place to be here. And when I watched X-Men, I didn't just see mutants. I seen people who, despite the world hating them, still wanted to be heroes, still wanted to be the good guys, and still had the point of, well, if you're going to treat us like dirt, we're just going to band together and say F you, which is why I've always liked Magneto's point of view. I didn't always agree with some of the things he did, depending on the writers, but for the most part, Magneto just wanted to protect his kind. And I feel like a lot of people get away from that because they think being bad is just nuance and being good is nuance. We've been watching My Hero Academia and we're only at season 2 right now.
Yeah, just started season 2 last night, probably about 4 or 5 episodes in, I think.
Yeah. And one of the things that troubles me about heroism in anime and manga especially is it's always portrayed as being a hero is being the most famous, being world known, looking apart, and these are still human beings. Whether they have powers or not, they all have different motivations, different aspirations, and if he had it, what we did was a bit different. He was into it from the actual anime, right?
Yes.
Whereas me, he had me sit and watch 2 of the movies with him, which most people would be like, "Well, doesn't that spoil stuff for you?" Probably would have, but I'm glad he did it that way because it made me like the characters. Because if I told him last night, had I tried to get into My Hero Academia from the first 4 episodes, I wouldn't have been able to do it.
Yeah, it's a great anime. It is a great story. They touch on a lot of stuff that they really don't address in like other superhero stuff. Like you never see this stuff really come up in Batman or Superman, Spider-Man. Well,
every
Spider-Man
time
kinda.
they try to do a teenage version of them, it's never believable.
Yeah, so it is kind of neat to see, but like I told you, I was like, I watched the movie. The first movie was great. I liked the first movie a little bit more than I liked the second movie. But the first My Hero movie is just fantastic. And I said, why don't you watch this and then we can start watching the series? Because the characters go through a lot of personal growth. And right at the beginning of the series, I'd say, she said 4 episodes. I say you have to get through the first 3. If you can force yourself through the first 3, because it is kind of hard to start watching because they do just kind of dump you in. They give you a little bit of a precursor, but like the main characters kind of whiny.
Too whiny. It's too much crying.
So it's a lot to get through if you're coming into it fresh. If you get emotionally attached to these characters and then get curious about it, it's a little bit easier to get through.
Yeah, because like Bakugo really got on my nerves in the movies, but I didn't want to hate him. I figured he had a chip on his shoulder for a reason. But when you watch the early episodes of him, he's almost irredeemable for me.
Yeah.
Because as somebody who, as a teenager and as a young adult, struggled with depression and stuff like that, and trying to figure out my place, to have somebody that you were friends with, that you look up to, you utter the words off yourself.
Yeah.
I'm not okay with that. And I know why they did it, and I understand that there are bullies out there that do that. But the fact that this kid wants to be a hero so bad when he has the worst attitude in the world, it's good to see it playing out. But I just can't stand people like that.
And it does, like, and like we both said, watching later stuff, later parts of the series, because this is the first time we've actually sat through and watched from beginning all the way up until I think I only made it partway through season 3. Or where the first movie came out, just so that I could watch the first movie. She hasn't watched any of it.
No, just the movies.
Yeah, so she hasn't watched any of it. So this is the first time watching together, getting through there, and there is personal growth there. You get to see these people become better people than when they start out. But it's really hard to want to sit there and like that character, and you know you're going to later. But it's really hard to get into.
Yeah.
Where there's some anime like that, Reincarnated as a Slime, that was good right from episode 1.
From episode 1. Everybody, even the people that aren't likable, because you get thrown for a loop and got reincarnated for us as a slime, because there are people that you think are just normal and nice, and they're the bad guys, and the people that you're expecting to be the bad guys are more noble and more, they look after their people. So I like the whole twist that the monsters aren't the monsters of that world, you know? And that's how I feel like My Hero Academia is trying to be in some ways, because like Todoroki, who's my favorite, I never hid that, Shota is my favorite, he has every right to be angry, way more angry than Bakugo, but he doesn't. He's a bit stubborn. He doesn't like asking for help, but I like the fact that they have made it clear that he still wants to be good. He still wants to be a hero. He's just confused on his motivation.
Right.
But he never lets it cloud his judgment or his focus. He never let any of the pain or abuse warp him into something else. And that might change, but I'm hopeful that it won't. Because I feel like a lot of people don't understand that there are a lot of us who survive parental abuse, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, and we don't want to repeat that. We want to be as far away from that as possible. And I love when people capture that in literature and anime and any kind of entertainment so that it gives a voice to those who have survived it and don't repeat the cycle. I could see Todoroki becoming an amazing hero that uses his pain to make sure that nobody else goes through that.
Yeah, and he had a lot of really good lessons in there, like the episode we watched last night where they're in that tournament.
Yeah.
Where he's not using his fire side or his left side at all because he doesn't want to be associated with his father.
Yeah.
And Izuku tells him, I was like, that's not his quirk. I was like, that's yours.
Yeah.
I was like, to come out here and fight somebody with half your strength or not using your full abilities, it's like you're gonna fail.
Exactly.
It's like you can't. That's disrespectful to you. It's disrespectful to me. It's like you need to use all of your abilities if you're going to be the kind of hero you want to be. It's like it's yours, not his. Exactly. It may have came from him, but that doesn't make it his.
Exactly.
And I think that's a great lesson. Is like, and if more people had that kind of a support system, think about all the characters you see. Well, I got this power from so and so, and they're evil, so I have to be evil. Like, yeah. No, you don't. It's like it's yours now.
And that's what I was explaining to Greg last night, too. I was like, even the bad guys in the storyline, I can understand how some people gravitate towards that. Because when society turns their back on you or shuns you and assumes that your power is going to cause harm, instead of giving you support and finding out a way that you can utilize your power for good, it can be bad. And the problem I have with the society set up in My Hero Academia is heroes for hire tend to be cutthroat. Mm-hmm. And there seems to be a lot of rivalries building and a lot of look at me's. And to me, a good hero is like the teacher. Yeah. At first, I did not like that teacher. And he made a bad impression on me.
I love that teacher.
Yeah. But I do like his motivations and his methods. He's not about being famous. He just wants to get the job done.
Yeah.
I like his attitude, but I also like All Might too. That's the duality of it. Because All Might is super flashy, and I can understand why that annoys some people, yeah. But he's not flashy for the wrong reasons. Right. He understood that heroes have to have that beacon. But I think he would be a hero even if people didn't know.
Yeah.
And I like that duality. People always assume that people are out there just for fame and glory. But if that was the case, he would have been frantic to try to keep his power for himself instead of passing it on.
Yeah.
You know, so
I think a lot of people like these. I think the teacher, what he's concerned with, and what most people will probably think of All Might is he does this for the attention.
Yeah.
He likes the attention. He likes to do that, and he doesn't. He likes to keep people safe. He wants people to have that reassuring thing that, hey, if I do get in trouble, there will be someone there to help me.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't get that. They just figure, oh, he's in this for the publicity because he's doing talk shows, he's doing all this other stuff.
It's kind of like a reverse Saitama, because even though Saitama is getting a lot of bad publicity for his thing, right. He doesn't care. It's not why he's in it.
Right.
He wants to be a hero. He wants to help people. He wants to beat the crap out of people, and he doesn't care if people think he's bad or not.
Right.
It's about getting the job done. I feel like All Might is the same way. He just wants to do the right things, but he also understands that if he puts out that face there, it gives other heroes somebody to inspire to. It puts the fear in bad guys and gives a main target. Mm-hmm. And it inspires hope in upcoming heroes. And unfortunately, we're not in a society yet that tells people that you have worth no matter what. We are still a competitive society. And as long as people need another person to aspire to instead of having their own self-worth, we are going to need that structure, that pillar, that hero to look up to. And some people automatically feel the need to step into that role. And yeah, some have negative motivations behind it, but you'd be surprised how many people just want to be that beacon so that other people can be that beacon as well. You know? It's really nuanced, and that's what I like about superheroism. It's one of the things that we made a point when we were talking about Superman the other day. So many people keep trying to give Superman this edgy take, that he has to be close to Batman. He's willing to kill if he has to, if he's forced. The reason why so many of us love Superman growing up is because he was a symbol of somebody with enough power to where he could destroy stuff, but he doesn't. That control is what makes him that paragon hero. That ability to know I could wipe out anyone I needed to, but I don't want to. I want to use my power to help, to protect, to uplift. I like that Superman, and I'm tired of seeing these wannabe gritty takes on him. There are enough gritty heroes.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I get the whole what if Superman went bad kind of viewpoint on it. People want to know what would this be like. It's like it's going to be horrible.
Yeah.
And like the Injustice.
Watch Invincible if you need something like that.
Yeah, the Injustice story does it. Yeah. And it does it kind of brutally, and it's a good story. I'm not saying that it's not, but it's like, how close are we to, once that's okay, then Superman's just always a jerk.
Yeah.
And that's not the thing. The whole part of him, the whole thing that he was supposed to do was like, here is a guy, and he's raised as a human, so he is just, mentally, he is just a normal person that has unlimited power, unlimited potential. And what does he do with it? He helps people, and he works a 9-to-5 job at a newspaper.
Yeah.
Because he wants that normal life. He wants hey, I got to go to work. I got to pay my bills. I got to do this. I got to do that. And he's the Boy Scout when he's in that suit.
Yeah.
And it's not even just in the suit. He's the Boy Scout when he's out of the suit.
And
that's why I like that Christopher Reeve Superman.
Which is today's his birthday.
That is the ideal of Superman.
Exactly. And for those of us who are Gen X, Christopher Reeve was our Superman. I remember getting excited as a kid, going to the movie theater, seeing that on the big screen, seeing the way he looked at the camera and did that smile.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite.
Lit me up as a kid.
Somebody posted that up there and said, "What is your favorite part of the Superman? Either the comics, the movies, games, whatever genre you happen to have." And my absolute favorite is at the end of every movie where he's flying around the world and he looks at the camera, he just gives that little smile and he flies off.
Yes.
I love that. I don't know what it is about that. It
just felt like Superman was looking at you.
It was just, as a kid, it was just comforting and it made me smile. Yeah. And I will always love that part of the movies.
Exactly. And that's why I say I get that new writers want to try to breathe life in iconic heroes, but there's a reason. And I feel like people keep getting away from what Simon and Schuster wanted to do. And you got to realize where they were coming from. A lot of people don't understand that these were men who went through one of the bleakest, most horrific moments in history. And they wanted to show not only the people that tried to oppress them and destroy them, that power doesn't come from that, but that the most powerful being they could create in literary that's been around for over 70 years still remains a paragon of good, still refuses to use his power in a negative way. And I think we need to stop trying to make Superman something that he wasn't meant to be. I get wanting to have somebody with his powers maybe got that line, but there's plenty.
There's plenty of people like that. If you look at, you got General Zod. You got all of the people that ran with him. I mean, that was the second movie, wasn't it?
Yeah. General Zod and his
You had three super people just like Superman, and it's like people don't want that. They don't want to see Zod. They want to see Superman go bad, and it's like, why? Why is there such a focus on watching a hero become a villain or a villain become a hero?
Exactly.
I mean, just and I hate to say this because I love Harley Quinn, but look at Harley Quinn. When she came out, she was a villain.
Yeah.
She was a bad guy.
Yeah.
But because of popularity, they've kind of I don't see watered her down, but they've changed how she operates
I
so that she can be
honestly
like more of an anti-hero than anything.
I think for her though, because of her mental scars and
Yeah,
everything else, she was just doing anything to be accepted and be pleased. I never got the vibe, even in like the Batman animated series,
yeah,
that Harley was evil.
right.
She everything she did, all her motivation was to please Joker. And as long as Joker wanted to do something, she wanted to do
Yeah,
something.
and I can understand that in a sense of character growth, and that's kind of what I think the Harley thing is. Is she's growing as a person,
Yeah.
so she's changing her ways. But I just wanted to use that as an example of whatever happened to a bad guy just being a bad guy and a good guy just being a good guy.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of people think that somebody's a bad guy when in their mind they think they're doing good.
Right.
Not every villain has motivations to just harm people. Yeah, there are some out there like
Right.
that. People that are just like, I'm going to get mine. I don't care. I don't care if I have to rob, rape, kill, or steal. But there are some people that are classified as villains just by protecting their people.
Mm-hmm.
We look at our society currently. There are plenty of people we are taught to not like because they're villainous that only want to keep their area or their country or their land safe and honor their own traditions. But because other people don't understand it or don't like it, they're automatically villains. That's why I'm always careful on who I classify as villain. I am always of the mindset of let a person show me who they are.
Right, and I understand that, and it's not like I don't have an issue with that. I like take Dragon Ball Z for example. You have Vegeta came in as a villain, took a while, slowly worked his way over to a hero.
Yeah, I honestly
and that
believe
had a lot
redemption.
a lot of character growth with it, and I thought that was great that they did that.
Yeah.
I loved it because here was a character that okay, we can't just keep him a power hungry villain that's going to be just hanging around the heroes waiting for an opportunity to
Because they've
overthrow
got
him.
way better ones
Because,
with Frieza and everything
they've
else.
got all kinds of stuff that doesn't that they can do that with.
Yeah.
But it seems like we got away from we have good guy, then we had a bad guy, and then it became he's not really a bad guy or he's not really a bad person. It's just his viewpoint on that, which is not bad, but they're not all like that.
Yeah, but
there's some people out there that are just that's it. That they just want to watch the world burn, like the Joker.
Yeah.
I was like, there is no redeeming quality in that, and yet you have some stuff where they're trying to redeem him, and it's just
but as somebody who I classify myself, if we had to do like character alignments, I've always said I was chaotic neutral. A lot of people believe I lean on the side of good, and that's just because it makes more sense to swing towards good things. But I could see having to do something horrible for the greater good that people would not expect out of me. That's why I always tell people, let a person show you who they are. And the thing is, I don't believe anybody's irredeemable if that's what they truly want. You're not going to repair things with the people you damage. Point blank. If you've harmed people, the people who you harm have every right not to trust or believe in you. But if you really want to redeem yourself and do the right thing, the only person stopping you is you.
Yeah.
And I love when people get that.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think that if like you've harmed somebody and you ask them for forgiveness and they say, no, or I don't want to because they can't deal with the fact that of what happened and stuff, then you need to accept it, and then you need to just go out and show them that you are changing.
Yeah.
And actually mean the change. If you're just doing it to
show off,
or be like, well, I asked for forgiveness and this person doesn't want to forgive me, then you're not really asking for forgiveness.
Yeah. Your motivations will speak to whatever path of redemption. I don't think Vegeta cared if anybody noticed him doing.
No, that's a great thing on there. It's like when you see him interact with all the other characters and stuff, he doesn't care about his history. That's his past.
Yeah.
Because I'm not that person anymore.
He's just there to do whatever he needs to do.
Yeah. So it's like the fact that, like Tien or Chaozu or any of those people that got killed because he came to Earth doesn't matter to him because it's like, yeah, that was in the past. I thought we grew past that.
And I'm telling you, as somebody who has a person who I know has not changed yet, say, well, it's in the past. you need to forgive me, because they want to get close to you and continue to do the same motivation. I understand people who would probably not trust Vegeta, but I think the reason Vegeta earned the rest of the DBZ fighters' trust was because they're like, he's just doing a thing.
Yeah.
He doesn't care if we're watching. He's not
Yeah.
saying, look at me when he does it. He is fighting Frieza. He is fighting all of these people because he wants to protect the Earth with us. And that is what actions do.
Mm-hmm.
If your actions back up your convictions, people will believe in you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I tell people all the time, there are so many people that, you know, you might have grown up feeling a certain way, believing a certain thing that isn't popular or good to have to hold on to hatred wise. But if you really wanted to let that go, you're the only person stopping you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we've seen that in and out of comic books. We have seen vile people that just realize, I don't want to do this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the Suicide Squad. To bring that movie up again, those people, society would deem irredeemable. And they became heroes because they wanted to.
Yeah.
They didn't have to. They could have pieced out.
Yeah.
Especially since their only motivation was getting lesser jail time and keeping alive. Once they realized how deeply entrenched the government was into that conspiracy with Star World, they could have easily been like, you know what, deuces.
Yeah.
I don't need this.
Yeah. And you could see it in the movie that they did. They were just like, yeah, you know what, we don't get paid for this. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
And then they felt wrong about it.
Yeah.
Like, you have to go with your gut and your heart on a lot of stuff, and a lot of people don't.
Exactly. And I think a lot of people don't understand that even criminals, they're still humans.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of what homeboy Idris Elba's character was, a Deathstroke or a Death Tut?
That's something I can't remember. It was kind of like a Deadshot ripoff.
Yeah.
I don't want to say Deadshot ripoff, but he had the same classification as some of those
it was
characters.
like Deathstroke or something.
I think like Dead Sport. That's something I can't remember. It's not one of the characters that immediately jumped to my head, but I think they had to replace Will Smith somehow.
Yeah.
And they were just like, well, we can't use that character, which I would have just. Honestly, if you guys are going to do that, just replace him.
Yeah.
Just be like, hey, you know what? This happened, and now you got to deal with it.
Yeah. My thing is,
Make
the way he was with his daughter didn't shock me because of the way I grew up.
That was funny, though.
Yeah.
I know it's not funny because that's how you grew up, but to me, I was sitting there watching them scream at each other, and it's like, you're the dad?
Yeah. And there's such a weird nuance because though your dad might be into some bad things, they're still your dad and they still care about you. It's just they don't know how to show it in a proper way.
Right.
And I always thought that nobody would ever portray something like that. And the Suicide Squad did it. And it was like, oh my gosh. It was like looking at an aspect of my childhood. The whole don't get caught mentality. Not don't get into trouble.
Yeah.
Don't do something bad. Just you got caught. And the way they talk to each other now, I was not brave enough to talk to my dad like that. I don't think I would have. No. But I could understand her anger with him. That pay attention to me feeling that most of us had. Because the only time you got attention from them was when they were around. And that wasn't a lot. So I love that dynamic, and I feel like I want to see entertainment touch base with stuff like that more often.
Yeah, and the whole thing of like she actually said to him was like, that's what you're mad about. Not that I did this.
Yeah.
You're mad that I got caught.
Yep.
Like, shouldn't you be mad at that I did this thing? That I broke a law. I did something I wasn't supposed to do. Yeah. But you're not mad at that. You're just mad that I got caught doing it.
Yeah. And then you think about how he was trained and tortured and everything else, and it just comes full circle. He doesn't know how to be empathetic as a parent, but he loves his child because he doesn't want to see her in a hardcore security prison where that's it for her life, right. You know? So I think we need to remember the nuances in superhero stories and villain stories, because a lot of people still think of villainy as black and white. And, not to give too much of our sci fi story away, but I think one of the more terrifying creatures we came up with for the story will surprise you, because it's not the natural person, but their motivations are as pure can be. And that's what I want to remind people of, what they think is evil. It is not always black and white, cut and dry. Some people will do horrible things because they think it is the best way to handle a situation.
Yeah, and there's a gray area. There's
Yeah.
a great big gray
And
area.
in life, you are always going to be either somebody's hero, nothing, or villain, depending on their life, their motivation, or how they see you. Sometimes people will see you as somebody to look up to or hate just because. We are not in control of other people's stories or what part we play in them either.
Yep.
And I think people forget that. That's why I love reminding people, whether it's through writing or talking about other people's stories, that the world is a complex thing.
Yeah, complex and multifaceted. There's more than one viewpoint on any situation.
Yeah. And people will let you believe what they want you to believe about them, especially if they have the ability to manipulate the situation.
Yeah.
And we've seen that in a lot of animes. Some people that really look amazingly heroic, but they are really nasty inside. My Hero Academia is full of those types.
Yeah.
They are selfish, they are prideful, they are boastful, they are everything you wouldn't think that somebody who wants to be a hero would be, but they are. And then you've got people who look villainous, like where we left off. That guy, most people would think, okay, he calls himself hero killer, he stabbed homeboy's brother, he is a bad guy, but I just feel like there's more to his story. And that since the bad guys are trying to approach him, we're going to see either him turn them down, because I haven't watched it yet, I haven't gotten that far, or, there's going to be a lot of deep psychological things. And that's a lot of things that people don't want to talk about, but we need to. Because psychological motivation, really, if we start understanding it, we'll have a lot less people being viewed as villains and understand that they're just misunderstood.
Yeah.
I see the word sociopath get thrown around so much, and I keep wanting to educate people on the difference between a sociopath who is more socially reclusive than psychopathic, but it's a waste of breath. People take that and they've used it as a blanket insult and excuse for every mental health thing. So all I can do as an actual sociopath is remind people that when you use that word, you're talking about people like me.
Yeah. Well, that, and too, just because you have that title doesn't mean that a normal person is any better.
Yeah.
And you can be normal and still a crap bird of a person.
Yep.
And just because somebody has that title doesn't mean that they're not approachable, doesn't mean that you can't talk to them.
Doesn't mean that you can't love us either. Yeah. It's like I tell people, the way I can detach my emotions, the way I handle certain emotions as well, is different than normal people. And I realize that now through getting help. But what drives me up a wall is that people only want to talk about my health issues when they're using it to mock, insult, or blanket term other people. And when you see actual sociopaths portrayed in writing, it's often as villains, and it's frustrating.
Well, that, and that's, you could have people that be like, oh, she's a sociopath, better stay away from her. It's like, I'm more concerned about the guy that is working the cash register, taking abuse 40 hours a week, just pushing it all down, and then one day is just going to snap.
Because a lot of us have to function in society.
Yeah.
And one of my worst nervous breakdowns was when I was working a corporate job, because we can get into most workplaces. It's just taking all of that pressure, and it's like a pot. And you fill it up, and you fill it up, and you push it down, or detach, or think you're detaching, and then just one day it explodes. And it happens to so many of us. And some of us get lucky. The explosion tends to be more an emotional breakdown, but some do physically attack needing that release of all that buildup. And we need more understanding of that, and we need less people liking us to villainy because it's not a fair assessment. A lot of people who have diagnosed sociopathy want to get away from society. We don't understand the cultural norms. We don't like gathering. We don't like small talk. When we find somebody that we gel with, we just want to be with that person. We don't want to deal with a lot of the outside noise. And I don't think people get that. And the few that do, we just keep it to ourselves. But we've got to stop doing that. And we've got to start promoting works that show our lives a bit better, because that's the only way to have a healthy conversation on mental health. And I get it that it's easy to interchange sociopathy with psychopathy, and there are probably even those who have a bit of both. But until we start learning that and learning what to look out
real
for,
fun people you want to hang out with.
I mean, you got a friend that kind of crosses that line.
Yeah.
I think he hops, skips, and jumps across.
Yeah,
it.
I think he flosses his teeth with that line and then
Yeah.
skips rope down to the store to buy more dental floss.
Yeah.
So he's a great guy.
Yeah. So it's just like, if we have these real conversations on it, I think it'll be better for our society. And I think it will enhance literary characters as well. I feel like, especially when it comes to heroism, many people think that heroes can take a lot of pressure. They don't break. They don't have any issues. And I think some of the best heroes, like Wolverine's had a few mental breakdowns.
Yeah. Oh God, he probably has a mental breakdown just waking up sometimes.
Yeah.
But let's do a little bit of Marvel bashing here. You were talking about the X-Men the other day, the new
the new FX or FVX manager wants to change the name of X-Men because she feels it's not inclusive.
Yeah.
And I was like, have you read those comics?
There has never been a more inclusive group than the X-Men.
Exactly.
Right out of the gate, they have male members, they have female members, they have, I'm sure, non-binary members.
Non-binary. They had the first team that was not just like every 60s comic. The core original four were Caucasian members.
Yeah.
Even though Beast turned into a beast, he was a white man.
Yeah.
But by the 70s, the group that I got into with Storm and John Proudstar and all of those other groups that normally never get represented. X-Men was the first time I seen Asian characters as superheroes.
Yeah.
And it was nice to see, especially growing up in New York, in a neighborhood where your neighbors were different ethnic backgrounds, to see a team made up of that and to have somebody say, well, the title X-Men doesn't seem inclusive. My problem with crap like that is you hire people like that to make a fake gesture by changing the name of an iconic group, but doing nothing to hire actual diverse writers. If you want inclusiveness, hire writers that can use the X-Men title to bring more characters that will speak to a newer generation all over the world, because I know some people like to think of Marvel Comics as only an American thing, but worldwide, people know these characters. Worldwide, people have grown up with these superheroes, and if you want inclusivity, write it. Don't just change a name and think that's enough.
Yeah, it's like you're going to change, just because you put a new label on a can of sauce that's no good does not make the sauce better.
Yeah.
And I know in like scientific studies they could do that with like, hey, we made these people think this was the A grade sauce that they like, and it's really the B grade, and then as soon as they taste it, it's like, oh yeah, this is the sauce I like because it was all mental. Yeah. But I was like, do you realize where the name X-Men comes from?
Yeah.
Like, X is the gene, the chromosome, the whatever makes a mutant a mutant. Yeah. And they're men and woman. Men, woman, they just cut the front off of it, and it's men. They're all inclusive.
Yeah.
It's not like when they walk up to the gate, Xavier's sitting there going, oh, this is a boys' club, you can't come in. No, he legitimately welcomes anybody who wants to learn.
Yeah. And I feel like there are a lot of people trying to play around with diversity in the wrong way. They like to parry wokeness. And I hate even using the word woke anymore because it's been mocked. It's been used, and it's a front now for people who want to use buzz terms and unnecessary changes, but not actually make a difference in what's going on. If you're pushing for a name change of a comic title, but you are not hiring more women and LGBT and non-white people, I'm not going to be nice about this. I don't hate white people. I think there's place for all of us. But if you're not willing to make room for diverse writers so that we can get newer storylines, get newer heroes out there, so that we don't have to keep changing iconic heroes for the time, then you are part of the problem. And I'm getting really tired of seeing iconic characters suffer changes that are unnecessary. Let them be a lesson if they had a bad thing, like Hank Pym.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at Hank Pym from the comics, he was irredeemable to me for the longest time because as a genius, he decided that he wasn't good enough, so he started drinking and beating his wife. So I didn't like him. But if you take what they did with him in the MCU, he's redeemable.
Mm-hmm.
He's a family man who, yeah, he's arrogant as fuck.
Yeah.
He uses people, but he loves his family.
And they came out and said he had an anger problem.
Yeah.
It's like there's nothing. They didn't hide the fact that he had an anger problem. He had an anger problem. I can't remember if they made it part of the exposure to the Pym particles or not. I can't remember if they addressed that particular juncture thing on there or not. But they did address that. Yeah, Hank's got a bit of a temper.
Yeah.
But it's like you adapt the hero to fit what you need.
Yeah. But I feel like too many people don't realize that we have a wealth of talent out there that just aren't being given the chance to get their foot in the door. There are stories that could be told that could reach, especially kids, that still don't get to see themselves in entertainment. And we need to do more to open up those doors instead of just these weird stunts and fake platitudes that get nothing done. It is shameful when you see how it looks like we've gotten further, but we really haven't. You look at award shows where shows that should be nominated are shut out because the mainstream doesn't think people watch them. You see shows that have a huge following be canceled because, the characters don't relate to everybody. And it's like, who's everybody?
Yeah.
I seen like when Watchmen, a lot of people enjoyed that show. A lot of people were hoping they do more, but you have these executives who all look a certain way that think nobody's going to be into this no more. Mm-hmm. It's a bit too preachy, and it's like we need more preachy. We need more education.
And the really bad thing is they don't do this, but then they go and they rehash the same garbage we've been given 20, 30 times, and they're like, well, why don't people like this anymore? It's like, because we've heard this before.
Yeah, or worse yet, like we said last cast, they remake stuff that don't need to be. I'm not going to watch New Bodyguard.
No.
Like at all. I have absolutely, if I want to watch The Bodyguard, I think you bought me the DVD. It's somewhere in our collection. Yeah. That's another funny thing that came up on Twitter. A friend of mine, Wesley, asked, do you think that there's a death in the DVD? And for retail purposes, probably. They're probably going to stop selling a lot of physical copies of stuff because we have moved to almost a full digital age of stuff. But if you're Gen Xers like us, you have a whole horde of DVDs, Blu-rays, because we were raised to believe, and rightfully so, because people are stupid, that an apocalypse might happen or something bad might happen. The fuck with internet, and all of you who want to just rely on digital, go ahead. You will be whining at us to make you copies of our movies and stuff.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing. Like, I waste probably a lot of money going out. I'll buy, if it comes with a physical and a digital copy, I definitely buy that. Because like, I can put the physical copy up, I can enjoy the digital copy while I've got it. But, like, when Skyward Sword came out, I bought a physical copy. But I also have bought the digital copy. Because I was just like, I don't want to...
I like having
the digital copy because when I want to play it, all I got to do is boot it up. It's good to go. Something goes wrong with the disc reader or the little cartridge reader on the Switch, I can still access the games that I want to play. But I always back up the stuff I really care about with a physical copy, just because you got people that like their whole lives, their whole family albums for photos, for memories, for anything they need is in the cloud. And I was like, what do you do when you can't get to the cloud? They go, oh, you can always get to the cloud. It's like, not always. I was like,
I've got physical albums in my living room.
yeah. I was like, and I, lady, back at the old job, some guy came in and he just got back from vacation, wanted to get his pictures developed, did not back them up. They were all digital, all on the thing. Deleted his entire, or no, wait, he did. He was able to put the photos in, but we had a problem with the machine and it crashed. Which, as anybody can tell you, you do 200-300 photo orders a day. Eventually, the machine's going to have a break.
Mm-hmm.
He did not wait to get his photos. He deleted all his vacation photos because he's like, "Oh, I got them all printed." It's like we completely lost the order. Yeah, it's gone. No, couldn't get it back from anybody.
Yeah.
All his stuff went out there, and I was like, "It's a just in case measure. You don't do something like that until you get it, so that way you have the backup."
Yep. It's like my CDs. I know some people laugh like, "Well, you need CD," and I have a lot of digital music, y'all. Like terabytes of digital music. But I still got a case of CDs as well of all my favorite bands from high school and beyond because you just never know.
Yeah, it's a precaution there. And we're not saying go out and buy everything physical copy because it takes up a lot of space.
Yeah, and it's a pandemic and you should really be saving right now.
Yeah, but we're just saying if there's something that you enjoy, something that you really like, if there's a movie, if there's a album, a game, something that you really want to make sure you have in case stuff goes wrong, buy a backup copy.
Yeah, have your emergency preparedness kit.
Yeah.
I know that people our age especially probably laugh. They're like, "Oh, we already have that." But for you that are a little bit younger that are watching this, I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Seriously, it's always good to be a bit prepared because you never know where the world's going to go. If you had told me a few years ago we would have a global pandemic that would justify me being a shut-in, then yeah, I would have looked at you like you were crazy.
I'm really, really upset all the work I did to get sociable and make myself go out and be among people. And this last 2 years have just erased it.
I'm not sorry, Dr. Tadeo, but I'm kind of glad I don't have to listen to your advice anymore. I was forcing myself once a month to deal with people, and now that I don't have to, I'm more relaxed now.
Yeah.
You know?
We're going to work on that.
I don't want to deal with people.
Just a little bit.
I like this online stuff a lot better.
I know you do, but still got to work on it a little bit. We can't both be shut-ins. And
yes, we can.
And I'm not going out there.
Potato life forever.
Wow.
Seriously, though, y'all. I really do. We have really been enjoying being able to take in a lot of media, working on our own projects, which we are hopefully soon going to be releasing a lot of work. I'm working personally on a story that I touched upon last week, so I'm not going to give too much out, but I'm excited about it. You know, Axiom is currently working on video editing and putting stuff out there. And right now, he has a GoFundMe up. We know that it's tough times, y'all. So if you can just spread the word for us, it would help out a lot. I'm going to share the link right now.
You already came prepared.
Oh, always. You're dating a type A personality there.
I was not prepared at all. I was like, I'll have to get the link up and everything.
No. I had that already. And, you know, we just want you to understand that we know that there are a lot of people out there right now, especially with the pandemic, that are asking for assistance and stuff. Anything helps, even if it's just a share.
Yeah, even by all means, this is just something because just to try to keep everything going last year. I mean, anytime we had to get something and everything cost 3 times as much, I went to just one place to get it, and unfortunately now I'm stuck. And I was almost out of the realm of being stuck, and now it's to the point of it's going to take forever to chop away at it. And I really didn't want to ask for help. I asked Cal, what should I do? And she said, try to start a GoFundMe for it. And I was like, I don't really want to impart on people to do this because I'm the one that did it. But it was like, unfortunately, I need the help.
Yeah. Asking for help isn't easy. Trust me, y'all.
Her, the person that never asked for help.
I know. I'm trying to work on that. Y'all don't make it
easy. It's seriously any shares, any support given to it. Thank you guys so very much.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have been amazing watching this. We know that we're too quiet.
He's too quiet. He sounds too quiet.
Oh, yeah.
What if I lean closer, Brian? Does this help? What if I get like right into your chat?
Oh my goodness.
How's this, Brian? Is this better?
Hyper.
Is it better, Brian?
You guys have really been amazing, though. I know that people have been sharing this cast, talking about our geek chat, so we really do appreciate all the love and support you've been giving our shows and stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like I said, we are moving out of a lot of old comfort and zones that we used to put up for ourselves. And it's nice, you know, it's nice being able to be unapologetically geeky, talk about topics like this, come out of our shell and show people, you know, sides of us that we normally don't let people see. So, you know, as long as you just keep enjoying it, we'll keep putting these out. Oh boy.
I had a thought. I'm not going to comment on it.
Oh boy.
When you said a side of ourselves that people don't normally get to see, I was just like, we're finally gonna get to see the bottom of your feet because of that guy that was.
No, that guy was creepy and wrong. Ew, no.
What was it about a month ago?
Yeah.
About a month ago, during one of Cal's Bonnet Chronicles, some guy just jumped into the chat room and was like, "Can we see the bottom of your feet?" And I don't know that it was a guy. It could have been a lady. But I just, that level of creepy, it had to be a guy. And I banned him instantly.
And then
I like to see all the sides of action.
He's gonna vote for you now. Oh my gosh. And then I went off yesterday on a guy, and I'm gonna tell you this about me. Even if Axiom and I weren't dating, I'm a very closed off person. I said it before and I mean I'm selectively social. So if your step to me is let me holler at you at the side or slide into your DMs, I'm going to shut you down. And I made it clear to the guy more than once that I'm not about that. And they just kept insisting. And even after I told them in DMs, I am in a happy relationship. I don't like talking to people I don't know and trust. They just kept pushing it. Don't be that guy.
Yeah.
It is uncomfortable. You will get blocked. I'm not even going to argue with you. I'm just going to cut you out. It's not worth it.
Yeah, and guys, you really got to work on your level of creepy. We saw a video. What was that video that we were watching that brought that up? And that guy that just walked up to someone's smart doorbell and started propositioning her over the doorbell.
It was all over Twitter. I think they put it on TikTok too. He was just at her Ring doorbell, 6 o'clock in the morning, talking about, I want to get with you. And it's like...
Yeah. I was like... Don't be that creepy. That will never work.
Yeah. There were people actually debating it, talking about, well, this is why women are alone, because they don't take that as chivalry. It's not chivalrous at all. To have some guy just wander up to your place at 6 a.m.
Do you know the definition of chivalry? That is not chivalrous. That is almost a rape charge.
And I get that getting to know people aren't easy. There's always a chance that you'll get somebody like me that's just going to nope you. That'll just shut you down. But you never know.
How you doing?
Hi, Wolverine. We're doing good. How are you?
Did I do a shut up for him? I think I did.
I think you did.
I think I did. I think you're going to get to experience my custom shout out.
Woo!
There we go.
Woo!
Okay, Miko, don't worry too much there. Oh no. I will worry. I will obsess. I will even contemplate while I stroke my beard. Don't I look thoughtful? Isn't this the kind of person you worry about? I know she does.
It's oddly disturbing, dear. Yes.
Can you imagine if I just did a 3-hour stream of this?
We're not gonna do that, y'all.
The time
But yeah, I love being able to talk about heroes, villains, and all the in between, because it's like I said, we grew up on these comics and stories, and we realized that, you know, as a kid, you get taught that good is good, bad is bad, and you don't always get that in between. But as you get older, you start seeing the
Yeah.
differences. And what I liked about My Hero Academia is, for real, you see that middle ground, because you see heroes that you really don't think belong in the hero league, and then you see people who everybody assumes are villains, and they end up being like that kid that takes over powers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the characters we grew up with often do shape who we become, because that's what I kind of worry about. Like, we both grew up Saturday morning cartoons. You had your bowl of cereal, you were in front of the TV at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Kids don't have that nowadays. They have Teen Titans Go, which I think gives a really weird sense of what people should and shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
That's probably where I'm not going to say it. Because
like,
I don't want to be sued by fucking DC.
My thing is, I feel like it depends on the parents too, because I think a lot of us Gen Xers, we're raising our kids a little bit differently than everybody.
Yeah, and I get that stuff had to evolve for that, but it would be nice to have some of the old school and with the new school stuff.
Yeah, like I really think we need Schoolhouse Rock back.
I think we need PSAs at the end of the cartoons now.
Definitely.
I would love to have seen, like, when Adventure Time was on, I would love to have seen a little Finn and Jake PSA. It's like, hey, everybody, we had a lot of fun today, but don't go exploring caves by yourselves. There's never treasure in there. More often than not, you're going to get hurt. This is Finn and Jake. See you guys next time. And then they ride off into the sunset.
Exactly. But who knows? Maybe, some of the newer stuff will, because Steven Universe did it. Yeah. And I loved it, especially in Future. They did a whole bunch of them, and it was funny. Because it just reminded me of the 80s.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Those PSAs, they may have been stupid and campy. Yeah. But that was fun. It added a little bit of charm to the show. You know, you got to feel like an attachment to the characters. I used to love the ones at the end of G.I. Joe. Yeah. Like, wait, kids, stay away from that power line. Shore leave! And I was like, what the heck is Shore leave doing away from the coast? Why is he in a Jeep? Couldn't you guys have sent Duke out? Isn't Duke always in the Jeep? How come Snake Eyes doesn't get one of these PSAs?
You do know Navy isn't just in the water.
I know, but I was trying to work up to the Snake Eyes joke. Because he doesn't talk.
I actually beat the base by the name of Trouser Snake earlier. Too,
oh, did you? That was great.
Yeah, that was fun.
Those fumbles.
It was always fumbles. But yeah, I feel that for real, Wolverine, and that was why we went on that rant about the X-Men. And I really hope that name change isn't a thing that happens, because those were the heroes I grew up with. People who, despite what the world thought of them, continued to be heroes, continued to do what was right for the people around them. And I feel like we need more of that in our heroes, and less people trying to put a blanket fakeness to it.
Well, that, like, I see what she was kind of trying to say, but it's like, you have other groups. You have X Factor, you have X Force, you have
all these mutants, and
all these different groups that still use that moniker. I was like, but no one really has a problem with X-Men unless you are looking to make a problem with it. Yeah. I was like, just leave them alone.
And then, see, it's stuff like that where negative people want to attack feminism in a way when they do stuff like that, because they think, well, they're attacking the name men. Look at these women that hate men. And it's like, we've got to stop this. Yeah. People aren't talking at each other. They're just making blanket decisions based on just like narrow-minded views. They got like this straightforward focus instead of seeing both sides of the thing. And I get that people want to make things seem more inclusive, but if things are actually inclusive and you're just changing the title, you're not really doing anything. You know?
Yeah, political correctness gone wrong.
Very wild.
And I hate to say this, and if anybody brings it up, I'll deny it. And Bet, way to show up late again, Bet! Way to be that guy that shows up right when everybody's starting to go home, and then we got to leave the club open for 5 more minutes, Bet.
He's got a life, y'all. You stop that.
Every week he comes in like that, and it's like, finally I get to yell at someone. In all seriousness, if you have not gone over and given Bet a follow, please do. He's a great guy. He gives me what? I had somebody do. I'm gonna get to Wilbermere's question in just a minute because Wilbermere asked a good one. He goes, "Do you see any characters as role models, or like, and are they have any heavily influence on you in any way?" And I think that's a good question, and I have a good answer for it. But the thing that Bet did there, I was working, and this lady come in. We were 15 minutes away from closing up the store for the night. And I told her, I was like, "Ma'am, we're going to be closing here in about 15 minutes. And she goes, "Oh, well, I have just enough time to get my shopping done then." And she's in one of those little automated Amigos. And she did 45 minutes worth of shopping. And I was like, "Ma'am, I have been working since," and I didn't say this is in my head. I was like, "I have been working since 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It is now 11:45. I have to be back at 7 o'clock in the morning. Show up earlier."
Exactly.
Do not show up 15 minutes to do your shopping and then spend a half an hour to do your shopping.
Now, for heroes that we think are good role models, basically,
Yeah.
I'm going to say my favorite heroes are more along the lines of Wolverine and Batman, but the person I look at as a hero, the person that I look at as a symbol of what a hero should be is Superman.
Like if you were Deku and you had to live up to somebody, like if you were like, Deku looks up to All Might, if you had to look up to somebody,
Superman.
Who are you looking up to?
Superman, because he has all that power, but he still uses it as a force of good. He, to me, and that's why I say I don't want to see an edgy version of him. He has always represented to me somebody with an amazing amount of power that uses it to do things like save a kitten from a tree.
If that was you, Bet, I will find you. This will be like the worst Liam Neeson taken episode you've ever seen. I will find you and I will have my sweet, sweet revenge.
Oh my goodness. He's so crazy.
I had to get that in there real quick.
He reminds me of how Moonman Rider is without the power.
Yeah.
He's not being a hero because he's going to get famous or anything for it. He just wants to do the right thing. So for me, Superman will always be. And this is a character that's been around since my grandparents were kids.
Yeah.
He's just that epitome of what a hero is.
Well, that and like Superman, I think you can, and he's shown that even without his powers, he will still try to do the thing that he thinks is right.
Yeah.
He will still try to save somebody, even if it gets him killed.
Yeah.
He will still go out there and do that thing.
Yeah.
Mine, I would say, would be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I was like, I've always been a big Spider-Man fan. I always liked the fact that he was just a kid that got incredible power. And the thing that I like the most is somebody brought it up in a YouTube video here when he lost his body to Doc Ock and he punched Scorpion's jaw off. Doc realized that all these years that Spider-Man's been fighting his villains, he's been pulling his punches.
Mm-hmm.
He has been consciously holding back to not hit them as hard as he could because he didn't want to hurt anybody. He just wanted to stop them.
Yep.
And I think it takes one heck of a person. Think about all the fights that Spider-Man has been in, that if he would have just drawn back and hit something as hard as he could have, that he could have ended that fight sooner, but he doesn't want to kill anybody. I was like, that takes an amazing amount of restraint. And he's not some alien from Krypton. He's just some poor kid from...
But he's gotten all the powers of a spider. And like I said, Peter's a smart kid. Yeah. So I don't believe it was just strength and agility he got. I bet you he had the ability to do paralytic stuff and all that stuff. But he was smart enough to realize that he didn't want to do something that could potentially harm somebody.
Yeah.
You know? And I loved his origins because he was a teenager. You give teenagers a bit of power, of course you go through that phase of, I'm going to be a badass, I don't care. And then he had a tragedy happen. And instead of him becoming bitter, he realized, no, I have to be better.
Yeah.
I lost somebody close to me because I was being a little shit. I need to be a better person. And I love that about Spider-Man. You know?
Brian, Superman, go with Goku. Screw everything. Let's fight. Hey, wait, you need this thing to make you stronger? I'll go get it and then we'll fight, right? You'll be strong. You'll be the strongest person there is, right?
Yeah. Goku's crazy, though. Yeah. I love him, though.
Goku's a little unhinged.
He is.
I think he's taking one too many punches to the brain. He's like the anime version of Rocky Balboa now.
Yeah.
He should just walk up. Hey, Roshi, I'm going to go fight Piccolo. Maybe I'll fight Piccolo, maybe I won't. Chi-Chi!
I just love that Piccolo's more of a grandfather to his granddaughter than he is.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, another thing they covered in the story, because I didn't read the Civil War in the comics, because I was like, this is gonna be dumb, and I think everybody agrees it was dumb. The movies were okay.
Yeah.
I can stomach that, but so like the Kingpin sent somebody after Aunt May, and Spider-Man went to the Kingpin. I think he was in prison at the time. He broke into the freaking prison and was like, "He was gonna kill me?" He was like, "No, I'm Spider-Man. I would never kill anybody as Spider-Man." Then he took his costume off and beat the crap out of the Kingpin, just dang near killed him, and said, "If you send anybody, or if anybody sends anyone after my aunt again, you're paying the price for it. I will come back here and I will finish what I started." Yeah, I think that was like,
that would be what would happen if I had powers, and that's why I warn people. You don't want humans with powers, because there are people like me that know. When my son had to deal with a bully, I realized you don't yell at the kid. The kid is getting it from somewhere.
Yeah.
So I waited till there was a parents' meeting and his mother was there. And I did this in front of everybody because I needed to make that point. I walked up to her as calm as I could be, and I said, "Your son's been hitting my son. This is how we're going to handle this. If your kid touches my kid or any of his friends again, I know where you live. I'm coming to kill you." I said it just like that, just as calm as that, looking her dead in her eyes. Her son stopped messing with my child.
Yeah.
I take it to the source.
And the funny part, I've heard this story before, the funny part about that is the lady was just like, "Well, go shake hands and like kind of make up between that."
And I said,
she was, "What part?
Don't touch my son.
Don't you understand?"
Yeah.
I was just like, that lady right there must have had just the coldest run of diarrhea run down the back.
Because I was fine. Everybody was just shocked because I was the quiet. I tried to keep that friendly mom mask on.
Right.
But this little bully was putting his hands on my kid, and James is a bigger kid and he had autism. So I always taught him, don't hit people, don't use your strength, be nice and be friendly. And this little brat just kept hitting and pushed him and hurt him once, and that was enough for me. And I was like, you know what? Most people will want to yell at that kid, and it's like, no, it's coming from the source. So my mind is go after the parent, and it worked. I don't know if it stopped him from being a bully, but she was smart enough to make sure that he knew not to mess with my kid.
Yeah.
Because I would come after her.
Like, first thing you know, I think as the purest-hearted hero is out there is Luigi.
Luigi
and
does.
That is actually true, because how many times have we seen in games where Luigi has to save Mario? At least 3 that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah.
You had Mario Was Missing, which was a really weird game for the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Where you had to travel through time and put stuff on in the right places and everything. Then there was Luigi's Mansion.
Yep.
Because he got trapped in the painting. And then I think, Luigi's Mansion 2 and I think in 3. Well, in 3 he has to save everybody.
Yeah.
I haven't finished that yet, so I don't know how that happens. So.
And I mean, like I said, I feel like there's a lot of heroes in entertainment that we can look up to. But I just love that stories that remind us that heroes are people too.
Yeah.
They have their breaking points. They have their motivations. They have stress factors. And it just brings a little dose of, I can relate to this character.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the I do say this, though. Like, by now, after 3 different mansions of dealing with ghosts, you think Luigi would be a little used to it. Just, like, he is still just as scared.
He has a don't ghost, like ghosts.
He has a ghost dog.
I know.
They gave him a ghost dog, and he's still not used to ghosts just popping out on him. You know that ghost dog messes with him.
Mm-hmm. All right, y'all, though. This was a fun cast, but we're going to get ready to wrap it up before the teenager starts stomping back and forth and wanting dinner.
Yep, and if you guys want to rewatch anything that you've seen or you want to catch it from the beginning, I will post it up on YouTube probably tomorrow. I like to give it some time just so that there's no issue between Twitch and YouTube.
Yeah.
So there's the link to the YouTube.
And we will be back on Mario Monday. Yep. So if you have any levels or anything you want us to play, we have a Discord that you can put those in, and it gives you priority play. And other than that, I will be on tomorrow streaming some Dungeons and Dragons online. It won't be the test server. I did Monday that, but I'm going to be on the live server with my reincarnation group. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, well, especially thank you for showing up, especially with the time difference. What time is it there for you right now? Isn't it like almost midnight?
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't it be?
I don't know if it's midnight.
It'd be late.
Maybe. It depends.
Just turned 11. I was close.
Okay.
Within the hour.
Yeah.
Boom.
Oh, he is never going to stop, y'all. Oh, my goodness. But we do appreciate all the watching and everything, and we will be back.
Just turned 11, so he's 5 hours ahead of us.
Oh, cool.
Tell us, what are the lottery numbers?
You stop it.
You're 5 hours ahead. We can still go get a ticket.
You're a mess. All right. We will see you next week for a new Genxcynics. And we will see you again soon on Axiom Street.
You know the rules of time travel, sir. I'm willing to forego it this one time. Everybody take it easy. Thanks for stopping by. I will see you guys on Monday. Tune in for Cal Stream tomorrow. And
that's about it.
Yeah, that's about it. I put all the links up.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm going to stare at you creepily.
Oh, dear God.
As we get ready to transition to the end screen.